I think we're ready. Ryan, give us a countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Are we live? Hey. All right. This week's guest, Felix Snow, has worked with artists such as Christina Aguilera, SZA, Lil Uzi Vert, Gallant, and many more. He's the producer and co-writer of the song Gold by Kiiara, which is not only 3 times platinum, but was also ranked as one of Billboard's 100 best pop songs of the year. Felix is also half of singer-songwriter duo m00n Memphis. He's recording an album of original jazz tunes, playing bass with a band of talented New York City-based musicians. And in addition to working professionally as a producer-writer, Felix is launching Azaa Music, the first songwriter marketplace built by songwriters. On the show tonight, we're going to talk to Felix about how he approaches music. We'll be joined by Azaa co-founder Chelsea Davenport, and we'll go into how they plan to re-energize and reinvent the songwriting industry and how songwriters make money. We're going to put Felix to the test with the first ever 11-minute beat challenge.
Hey, yo.
The crowd goes wild. Where we'll be giving him a sample he's never heard in his life, and he'll have exactly 11 minutes to turn it into a beat. And much more. Still to come. So, without further ado, I'm proud to introduce the one and only Felix Snow. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the applause. It's beautiful.
They love you out there. What you got there?
A little spindrift. Grapefruit.
Okay. Yeah, same.
I already crushed this pineapple, literally.
Is that like
crushed pineapple?
That's like a unsweetened seltzer kind of vibe.
Yeah. We're looking at 3 grams of sugar and 17 calories, so
Okay, lightly sweetened.
definitely a healthy option.
I like that a lot. Nice. How are you? Where are you?
Groovy. Connecticut, amongst the woods, amongst the pines.
That sounds glorious. I have some questions for you. But
Let's
first
do it.
off, what is your beard care regimen? We had a special request. Somebody really wanted to know.
I actually do have one. It's just shampoo and condition every day. And
Every
then,
day.
Yeah, every day. And
Wow.
I got a Kent comb. It's like
I know about those. It's
I
like
don't
a
know.
tortoise shell.
Yeah. They're definitely not killing turtles, but it's yeah, every day. Got to do it every day. Otherwise,
How long
got
do
to
you
keep up with it.
How long do you comb for?
Oh, it's quick. It'll be like that's like a 20-second job.
Gotcha.
Kind of hurts though sometimes. You gotta.
Jeez. Why? Because it tugs.
Yeah, they definitely get like a knot. You just got to power through the knot.
Damn.
Like that.
Is this the longest it's ever been, or do you trim it?
Roughly. It's been a little bit longer than this, but this time I've been cutting the sides, and then we have this thing right here. So the side, it's not getting like that.
You're going for height.
Yeah, going for like a vertical thing instead of
Do you have any
horizontal.
beard heroes?
Oh, it's got to be Jerry Garcia. That's the one. That's the beard guy for me. And
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I know you're you know, you got the dead in your background, but would you be offended if someone called you a deadhead?
Oh no,
Are you a deadhead?
100%.
Cool.
It's in the blood.
It's in the blood. Let's cover a little bit of the background, and then we'll get to more of the bullshit. So, how do you get into music? I know you play a shit ton of instruments. Were you playing in bands back in the day, and you guys just did like the musical chairs thing where you like traded off and that's how you learned all the rock instruments, or how'd that happen? What's your origin story with that?
Started with drums, and I was probably like 10 years old, and just, you know, the kid bands, and probably the most educational thing I ever had with music was guitar tabs. Just like listening to like a good Charlotte song, and then going on Ultimate Guitar, and you know, they had 3/5, 5/7, you know, and you're like, all right, well, this is how I do it. And
classic, yeah. If you learned guitar without guitar tabs, I'm suspicious. Not you, but any
at this point, yeah.
you, yeah. Nice. Okay. And bass? When did you pick up the bass?
Yeah, bass was second. Bass was like maybe when I was 13 or 14. And then guitar was a little bit after that.
Mm-hmm.
And upright was in high school, just orchestra, because they have like 3 or 4 uprights for orchestra. And
cool.
That's actually, I know bass clef pretty well. That's like my most like sheet music-y.
It's your most proficient clef.
out of the 3, I think it's 3.
Yeah.
What is it? What's it? Treble, bass.
We got the big 2, and then there's some indie.
There's like K clef. That's the only like alt one I know.
K clef. Yeah. We don't talk about them anymore.
No.
Cool. Okay. Who are your musical influences? What you picked up the drums just out of like sheer want to play the drums?
Yeah. I
Why'd
think
you do that?
probably first and foremost was Beach Boys, and then like Phantom of the Opera.
Whoa.
And that was pretty much it. I think that was my musical youth.
For real? Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah, like
That's crazy. I was super into Phantom of the Opera too. We've never talked about that.
I can't verify it, but my mom says that when I was really young, I like knew all of it by heart. But I definitely don't now. I don't think I know any of it. But
it's dope.
That part.
Yeah,
that part. Yeah.
That's the part. Okay, nice. All right, we're zooming through because you know we got some important ground to cover. What was the first thing you recorded? Because we were right on the cusp of like garage band, so I think.
No, okay. So
were
we
you in
want to talk
garage
about...
band? Yeah.
No. So Korg. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to remember this because I want it to be accurate. It was a Korg D8.
Wow.
That was the first thing. Korg D8 was a digital standalone recorder.
Okay.
I
4-track?
believe...
Oh, 8-track. I'm gonna venture a guess.
It was 4 and 5, 6, and 7 and 8 were on one. So it was like 6 faders, but then the last 2 were stereo. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then D1600 was kind of like my main thing.
I don't know what that was, but shout out what was it? D600?
D1600.
1600? Akai?
That's a thing of beauty. Korg.
I don't know that one. What is that? It's like
it's like
sampler?
it's pretty big. It has 16 actual faders. There's no like.
Oh, that's one of those
stereo
workstation mixer things.
Yeah, standalone digital recorder had, and then
Cool.
you could buy the upgrade, which I bought. Well, my parents bought it for me. It was the CD burner, so you could make your demo
Wow.
song or whatever.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
burn
This
the
is
CD.
classic Project Studio vibes.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
And what did you record onto it? What were you recording? Just yourself or friends in the neighborhood playing like
Yeah. Sometimes friends,
Grateful
but
Dead
mostly
covers or what?
we have a lot of those. Nah, mostly like original stuff. Just creating as like a what would it be? 14 or 15-year-old, just coming up with random stuff and
Cool.
getting my hands wet with recording. The phrase is really feet wet, but I said hands. So.
Depends, you know. Some people use their hands, some people use their feet. College, you went to NYU. That's where we met.
Yes.
We were freshman year roommates.
Met Lane Banning, and it changed my life. I'd like to talk a lot about that tonight.
We'll come back to that. So what let's see what I had written down. I'm skipping through all my bullshit notes here. Into college, out of college, enter real world. What's the
usually how it goes?
Did you go into college like wanting to be a member of the Grateful Dead, or did you like want to be a singer-songwriter? Do you want to be a
No.
producer?
Yeah,
What did you?
It would not. It was singer-songwriter going into college, and then it was producer coming out of college because there were so many awesome people that I wanted to work with at that program, and being a producer was the way to do that. So that was kind of like the transformation.
Okay. Hold that thought for a second. I think we're having a technical difficulty here. What's happening?
Same issues.
Okay. Just unjoin the Wi-Fi and join the Wi-Fi again and see if that fixes it.
It's going to cut out of the stream.
Let's just see what happens.
So end the Wi-Fi. Okay.
Well, we're getting each other good, but because okay. We're almost there. Bear with us.
Bearing.
Maybe Ryan can give us some bear facts while we wait. I hear Ryan has a lot of.
That was definitely a newsletter.
I just learned today that our intern Ryan used to send out a newsletter containing all incorrect bear facts.
Incorrect?
Yeah, like false bear facts.
All right, well, you got to spit like 3 or 4 of them.
I know.
He's definitely got them in his head.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Come on.
You can multitask. Let's get the
Stop
stream
being so
back up
stingy.
and get the bear facts going.
He's got 6 stomachs. His heart is located in his foot.
What? Nobody's going to believe that.
You never know.
Who were you spamming with this? This is just like spam.
It was the longest running newsletter at my university.
What was this university? You went to Babs?
I went to Union College, upstate New York.
Union College. Wow.
All right, well, it looks like we got audio, we got visual.
We have visual confirmation from the YouTube. If you're watching the YouTube, let us know if we're visible. Still good?
Did the YouTube go down?
I guess the YouTube is fucking up, yeah.
I think we're good.
We're waiting on
It'd be
final
pretty funny
confirmation.
if it wasn't.
Josh, can you check? Thank you for whispering that burp.
I gotta funnel it.
Waiting on the thumbs up, thumbs down. It's coming. coming.
Oh yeah. What you know about this?
Looks like a dope candle, but I know nothing.
Diptyque?
Diptyque.
Tell me you know Diptyque.
I've heard of them from my bougie friends.
Smells so good. 100% worth it.
What flavor? Or scent?
I don't know how to pronounce that. It's like some French garbage. But it's like a woodsy smoke fire smell. Very smoky.
That's my vibe.
It's a good vibe to have. It's better than like, you know, Yankee Candle Company or whatever. Whatever's in the mall. That stuff will give you a super headache.
Is that a pin?
Earring.
All right, they're figuring it out. We got the crack tech squad on this right now.
Well, that's good. How do you know that guy Mike?
Which Mike?
Mike from Discord. Was his name Mike or no, Matt?
Matt. Matt, I know from some. He went to MSM and plays in this like cool 3-piece horn-based
Chicken McNugget.
3-piece chicken McNugget. Yeah, I'm only laughing because you think that that's so funny, but no.
It's incredibly funny.
They don't even sell a 3-piece chicken McNugget.
That's why it's so
Who would
funny.
only buy 3 pieces? That's like on the health menu or something.
It's like they have different tiers of like 4 pieces for 99 cents, but you can do 3 pieces for 97 cents. They're trying to steer you.
Yeah,
into
they
the
get that
99
upsell
cent.
on the 3-4 piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but his band is really sick. Too Many Zoos. They're really dope.
I think it's familiar.
Yeah, we just known each. He's played trumpet on a couple records way back.
I don't know what else we can do about YouTube.
That is super funny.
Let's should we try to give it a little restart?
Restart the computer.
Restart the computer?
Let's just try all the basics here and see if we can get it going.
That would end the stream. That we're okay with doing that?
Well, the stream is not happening right now, right?
So then it'll have to be a new link.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can go back into an old
Right.
stream. Yeah.
Is that okay?
You tried to.
I'll be right back.
Felix, stay tight. You tried, like, really getting out of it.
Oh, like forgetting the no.
The audio's high quality. Yeah, the audio sounds great.
We're back. I think. There you go. Oh, you're back.
It's going really choppy.
Yeah. I think it's an encoding thing.
I'm watching it here too.
Choppy over there.
Yeah.
Can you change the thing in here to like 30 frames per second and down sample it? I think that was it. Just make the bit rate lower for the video.
4200.
I don't know. How am I supposed to know? What do you think? This is what I do?
Okay, this should work.
Little
Let's see.
smooth
my
delay.
hands.
Only other option would be to give out the Discord like we did with the Zoom with Brian.
Let's do our best to get this working.
You catch it.
Not receiving. I don't know. Just restart the computer.
Okay.
Felix, we'll be right back. I don't know. There's a ghost in the machine.
Do you know?
We're restarting
Isn't
the
that
computer.
I think that's a police song.
It might be.
But they might be referencing something too.
They didn't invent it. I don't think police invented that.
I'm restarting.
We're restarting.
Have to investigate the etymology of that.
The audio's coming from.
The computer is going to turn off.
British philosopher Gilbert Ryle's description.
Ah, I see. Okay, so Felix, I think we'll still be able to talk in audio, but I'm not going to be able to see you for a second. We'll see if that's true.
Do you know what Dave R.
Okay.
Ludovic? He asked to join the live stream and says, "I need that Studio B session. Call me."
Cool. Diego? Nice, Diego.
We got you, Ludovic. We're on it. Appreciate your
What are we doing?
persistence. Somebody's on the Instagram live, like trying to book a session. It's awesome. Yeah, it's.
At least you got something.
It's good. It's good. People trying to get in here. They're like, "Hey, can you wrap up this stream? I'm trying to record my hot new single." How's it look?
Hello.
Looks like a live stream.
It looks good
Like
now.
how it's a
Hey,
phone
Chelsea.
Hey. Hey, what's up? This is so cool.
It's gonna be cool once
I need to take a picture of like this rig and send it to you so you can see what everything looks like
The
from our
chaos.
end. Yeah, you need to see this chaotic
Yes,
setup
please.
that's going on.
Ryan, can you make that full screen?
This actually looks psychotic. You look insane. Not you, Lane.
You can. It's okay. If I look insane, you can tell me. I'll take it. Take it on the chin, as they say.
Wait. Let me see if I have your phone
You got him
number
right
here.
there. Right?
Okay, looks good.
You right? 215.
It's gotta be.
You don't
Hopefully
have my
that's-
number saved, Felix.
Different lane.
No. I have your number. I think
You got multiple
sending
lanes
you a
in your
picture.
phone, and you don't have my
I only
215
have
number
one
saved.
lane, and I hope it's you.
Okay. Okay, fair.
I have a Felix saved in my phone, but I don't have my Felix saved under the name Felix, and sometimes just accidentally I'll text Felix, just not using my brain, and that person will always text me back and be like, I don't think this was meant for me.
That's really sweet of that person to have such patience.
I know.
All right. Well,
All right.
can
I'm
we
gonna
get
let you
we're
guys
waiting
get
for
back
a
to it.
moon thumbs up on our end, but I think we might be good. How we looking, guys?
Okay, cool. I
We'll
think
see you in a
I'm
little
ready
bit,
to roll
Chelsea.
with you here.
A little choppy, but better.
Ooh,
Thanks, Angel.
Yeah.
can you just keep
Chelsea's
lowering
now
the
really in the
video
green room,
bit
for
more?
real.
See whenever you
Okay.
need.
Or
You
make
got
it
your phone?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Love you, Angel.
make it like maybe make it 30, not 60. All right. I'm getting word that it's a lot better. Quote.
What's better?
The ghost in the machine is a lot better. So we're getting there.
Ah,
We're getting there. Okay. All right. We're just going to go for it. Making the call.
winter time. This is amazing.
What happened to wintertime?
I try to hit him up every now and then. He's like
Good.
unhit-upable.
Where's he, in Michigan? Am I remembering that right?
I have no idea.
Okay.
He could be anywhere. He's probably in Alaska.
Wow. Crazy. All right. Well, let's get back into it. We covered a lot of ground. We got all the way to NYU and beard maintenance, which is a lot.
Wait, are we live now?
Are we? Yeah, we're live.
You're talking like we're live, so I'm taking that.
Yeah. I'm in host mode now.
All right. Yeah, Ben. Ben Easton's texting me.
Really?
Yeah.
Dope.
He says Instagram must like Yankee Candles too, and they cut the cord.
Yeah. We're, just for the record, we're all up on the cedar Yankee Candle, but that's the only one. You know, I hear you on the, most of them are sickening, but the cedar and
Yo, listen, I'm just saying, like, when you go to the mall,
yeah,
when you go to the mall and you walk by it,
that's Bath
like,
and
you
Body
wanna throw
Works,
up.
man. That's not Yankee. Don't take that out on Yankee.
All
That's
right,
that
so
middle-aged
when
white woman shit. That's a Karen
Listen.
store.
Listen, when I woke up, no.
You woke up in a Yankee Candle.
I woke up and I was a Yankee Candle, bro.
Well, I fell asleep at a Grateful Dead concert once, and I woke up and I was a Yankee Candle.
I used to be a guy, but now I'm just a candle.
Oh man. All right, yeah.
All right, it's your job to get us back on track here.
This is the track. All right.
This is very serious business, Lane.
All right. New York, you went to LA. You left us and you went to the West Coast. If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
you got a pub deal. Is that right? Was that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
impetus
So I was
behind
working
that?
with like a bunch of New York people, and
Yep.
then this A&R, Katie Donovan at the time, is now Katie Vinton. She just called me up, and boom, boom, moved out to LA, and that's what spawned the whole LA thing.
And this is
phase
important,
of my
kind of
life.
part of the origin story, because we're going to touch back on publishing later, because it's very, applicable to what you're working on. But this was what, like a producer writer kind of deal, where you were trying to, they wanted you to write some hits.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that was maybe like 2013
Mm-hmm.
ish, 13, 14.
Yep.
And yeah, that's the gist of it. It was a different time though. That was a different time.
How so?
Huh?
Like in the time space continuum, you mean, or are you speaking broadly?
Nah, it's just, yeah, we'll get into that later.
Okay. Put a pin on that. So put that in your Spindrift and drink it. Not sponsored by Spindrift, by the way. So what I remember from you put that in your Spindrift?
No, these are like pills. These are
Okay,
capsules.
how am I
I'll
supposed to
just
know?
take them.
I thought it might be powder. All right. So the publishing world. When we were working together, when you were out in LA, what I remember from your that place in your career is that you were working with a lot of like developing artists. This is when you were working with Kiiara. You started a band with David, and a lot of this like artist development kind of work. So I guess the question there that I've never asked you personally, so this is not bullshit, this is a real question I'm interested in, is like my interpretation of the major publishing companies like Warner Chappell, for instance, who you were signed with, is like they're gonna try to place you in rooms with people so you can get some big cuts, because that's like they want to get big hits. That's how a publishing company works. Like the bigger the hit, the more money you and the publishing company get paid. So how does artist development work with having a publishing deal? Is that something you were doing like on the side? Is that something you were
No,
working
that was
towards
just
personally?
I've actually, sometimes you try to figure out your strengths and your weaknesses as like a
Mm-hmm.
person, and then also as a creator. For some reason, I have a somewhat of an inherent like pull towards that level where a person is in like no man's land, but they're very talented, and
Yep.
I perceive that they're a great artist already and nobody else knows about them. I think that's what's most attractive to me versus like, oh yeah, I just got to get this Bieber cut, or I mean, that's most of LA, and that's most of like publishing land.
Yeah.
There's very few people who want to go out into the desert and I don't know, find the next somebody. But there's a few. I've known a couple people who enjoy that kind of thing.
But that's not most of LA. That's because it's. Why is that?
Oh, everybody's just trend chasing, and they're cut chasing, and they're money chasing.
Right.
But COVID put a damper in that, and then
well,
streaming and
back to
much
where you were in
getting
LA.
paid.
Then was your publishing company that you had to deal with, were they supportive of that ambition, or was it more of like you would satiate them by doing the hits and getting in the room with to get the cuts, but then also like finding
I
artists?
made more money for myself. And for them via artist development than any kind of cuts, quote unquote, that I've ever had. And I've had the most success just on my own, not from opportunities that were, orchestrated by any kind of industry characters.
And not to get political, but were they supportive of that and the fact that like that's where
They just didn't care. It didn't matter.
Good.
As long as I was doing like a bunch of sessions,
right.
What else, I could have been doing anything,
So that sounds generally positive then, that worked out. You didn't have to terminate your deal. It was neutral. Okay.
They had a neutral position on it. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. But you got to follow your heart because you're a fucking artist. What are you going to do? Just like spend your whole life in the room with the wrong people because of a deal? You can't do that. So that's what you did. You ultimately
I've never felt like I've owed anybody anything in that regards anyhow, especially anybody in the music industry, because you really do. Like, my heroes are people like Anton Newcomb, like Brian Jonestown Massacre, who literally has made an entire life out of he kind of shooting himself in the foot a little bit, but he's very what is it, stubborn,
a middle finger, one may say.
Unrelenting in his creative stuff,
Okay, so how do you get to Nashville from LA?
Well, I met Chelsea and simultaneously was becoming increasingly disillusioned with LA, both as a social / moral environment and also the music industry, which is really the entertainment industry, especially now more than ever out there. I don't like to call that the music industry at all. But Nashville felt like capital M music. But even Nashville, there's a lot of LA transplants, especially in the past 5 years. They've moved from LA to Nashville, and I think Nashville is getting super yuppified and like a lot of like hot shit people. Those people. They just think they're like great.
Yeah, and that's permeating into the music that's coming out of there.
Yeah.
When did 17 Memphis start? which is your band
Yeah,
with Chelsea.
with Chelsea. Yeah, at the same time.
This
Yeah,
was about the
like
time that you relocated.
that move to Nashville. Yeah, yeah. It was like my next musical venture after like Katy Perry land.
Mm-hmm. So would you say it was like pretty reactionary? Like you kind of like had enough of the the big.
It was a
plastic
necessary
lands kind of
evolution
thing? Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And
I
then,
couldn't. It was like when you plant a certain type of plant in a climate that it doesn't
mm-hmm.
like, or that it can't grow in.
Right.
That really wasn't funny.
There are no palm trees in Brooklyn, that's for sure. For
Yeah.
good reason. Okay.
That's the number one thing to take out of this.
Yeah. We're massive horticulturists here, and it's but that's good. Yeah, and I'm glad that you were able to like follow your heart there and not kind of be tinged by the industry, because you have a lot more to offer than just being like, a robot hit maker. So when you moved to Nashville, you started making music as 17 Memphis. Were you still under contract?
Oh yeah, I'm still under contract now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I've recouped
mhm.
my deal like a million times over, but the legal crap persists.
And I appreciate you being candid about it, because this is what people need to hear, and that's where we're going in the evolution of your career, is that, what? You guys okay? Okay. The interns are waving their arms around, like, I don't know. There's some
They're
secret
just like having a
code
party.
signals. Yeah. Cool. But okay, so you moved to Nashville, you started
Interns
making
gone
music. Some may call it country music. Some may say it's a twangier, more down home kind of feel good music that you guys are working on. What would you call it?
Something like progressive country, or like Ableton country,
Ableton country. Nice.
or just like music. I'd probably just call it music.
I had a feeling you would say that.
Yeah, I would say something like that. But,
Okay. Yeah. I'd say it's, something you might just play with the windows down in that old beat up truck, ready to pick up your girl, taking the back roads.
letting one rip.
Going out to that Memphis bar, getting drunk on whiskey and love. Something like that.
Are you just reciting the lyrics?
That's a adaptation from my favorite 17 Memphis song, Honey Jack, for all the deep
Lovely.
deep fans. Okay, so then you have a really interesting one thing I want to ask you before we get into the more businessy side of it is, like, you've been in New York, LA, and Nashville. That's pretty unique, because those are generally known as like the three big spots for music in the United States.
Yep.
What's your favorite? You can say.
Oh, what's my favorite?
Yeah, what would you pick?
New York by 1,000 trillion million %, but not for music, just for life.
Cool. I'm asking generally. That's cool. Why is that?
Probably because I'm like a Northeast person, but New York is it's great. It's amazing. LA isn't great or amazing. And Nashville is pretty great, but it's not amazing. And New York's both great and amazing.
Did you need to leave New York to recognize that?
No.
Cool. Okay, you've got a rich background of playing instruments, as we've discussed, real instruments with noise coming out of them and strings perhaps.
rich background of playing fake instruments.
That too.
I'm trying to picture that. That's great. It's like VSTs, right? Those are fake instruments.
Well, yeah, I was talking about the real ones, but now you have a lot of experience. Some may say rich, playing modern electronic instruments involving circuits and electrons and stuff like that. So this is an interesting topic though, because you're very unique, whether you recognize it or not, in being like at home in front of Ableton with a hard drive of samples and dragging, dropping, and cutting and chopping and screwing and whatever, and making a hit beat that way. But you can also play, you can be like producing a country band in a studio and laying down the basics on acoustic guitar and drums and bass, and then overdubbing the vocal harmonies and speaking musical languages. And then most recently we've worked together. I witnessed you in a isolation booth playing upright bass with a band and like a jazz setting, and probably I think that was probably the least control I've ever seen you have in a musical setting ever. And that was really interesting to see you like not behind the boards, not driving the ship, and you flourished as expected. So you have a lot of these different, like, you're at home in a number of different scenarios, right? Do you know this about yourself?
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful.
How does your brain work with it? I'm really curious, like, so you're looking at these different instances and then like a million things in between in the gray areas, right? Of like, whether you're working with a singer and you're just in the studio, like kind of behind Ableton, and you're just riffing and you're improvising and you're grabbing little vocal snippets and trying to make something that sounds good, versus like you already wrote the song, you go into the studio and you cut it. That's like more of the traditional kind of route. So like, how does your brain differentiate in these different scenarios? Like, do you feel that they are all the same process, or do you feel like they are like, do you act differently in the different mediums? Are they more the same, or are they more different?
The guiding light is always, I guess, to be more accurate, you could say perceived quality of music, but just quality control is the only guiding light. Doesn't matter what style, could be, whatever, doesn't matter what it is. It's just, are you excited by it musically? That's it.
Do you try to like, how do you reconcile with the fact that like in something that's more like pop music, for instance, like quote pop music, the audience has a certain like expectation of what they want to hear based on like, a trap beat, like trap beats have been hot for 7 years, let's say. Like, yeah. So you're perfectly capable of using something like that as a tool or as an ingredient in the thing that you're making. And there's like a certain, like, I'm challenging you to kind of reconcile with the fact that there's a certain relationship between the fact that like you can't untie the trap beat from how much everybody's heard the trap beat on the radio. Art is context. You know what I mean? Like there's a context to the art that we are observing, and that informs how we interpret art as consumers and as producers. So do you try to think about that? Like, do you think about how it's going to be perceived by people listening on the other side? Do you try to keep it to like how you come into contact with pop culture and how, like, what that trap beat might mean to you as Felix Snow, white guy from Connecticut, not Atlanta trap artist who was like growing up selling crack in the streets. It's like, how do these things work in your head? Because you've always been someone to me who's working with artists who each have a lot to say in their own right, you know, and you're kind of a chameleon. So how does that work? Like, how do you veer in one direction or another? And how does that, like, how does the perception of what you're creating affect what you're creating?
Oh, damn. Well, I hope this is an answer to that question. I just think that, like, all music is like a rich tapestry, and it's like all just there for the taking. I don't know. Everything just like informs everything else, and it's a beautiful like mixture. It's a beautiful, like, the more open-minded and the more you could posture your creative spirit to say, oh, let's take something that's over here and something that's over here, and it's only these people doing this and only these people doing this over here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're this third party who's like, hey, well, let's just take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and go point.
Yep.
And then that becomes like, it's like, what is it, like a bunch of amoebas or something? You know how they're like coming together and splitting apart, and they're, you know, I have no idea if that's an answer to that question.
That's a great answer. No, everything is an answer. Anything that you say is an answer.
That's the
enough
new name.
for
That's
me.
a new name for your show.
Everything
And
is
it's
an
just
answer.
like, it's just like filled with non sequiturs. I just answer completely different questions.
That's the question, though. Do you think it's the producer's responsibility to, by you know, let's dig deeper into that, like, analogy. Like, if there's these different styles and backgrounds and histories and all this, you know, these different amoebas, and if is the producer's role to be aware of the context, the greater context than the artist may be aware of, and to help meld the amoebas together and kind of you know, make sure that they're
Depends.
compatible.
I don't know. I think I would say it's like, you know, it's people use this term artist a lot, and it's just a misnomer. It's been conflated, and like, you know, it's just not accurate for most people. Like any I'm not gonna get too crazy.
No,
but,
get crazy, because this is what I've been trying to get to. This is the Felix I know and love. I need to hear this shit. So, like, I had a conversation the other day where I found myself about like 2 margaritas in making the argument that everyone was an artist, not just those who are considered artists or fine artists or recording artists, or like, why is the first grade teacher not an artist? You know, is it based on the metric of how many people they're going to have an impact with? You know, is it like a kind of a metric of volume that way, or is it a metric of how deep of an impact they're going to have on the people that they touch? What is an artist?
It just depends how you define it. I think probably if you want to get really close to reality, like foundational reality, I think everybody being an artist is correct. And I think the highest art is how you live your day. The highest art might be how kind you are to people. And
yeah.
Everyone's an artist. And if you want to judge them based on their artisthood, you can judge them based on their kindness. But you probably shouldn't judge them at all anyhow, because that's not good. But yeah, if you just want to get to like real, like whale shark type stuff.
You lost me at whale shark.
Like bottom of the ocean.
Ah, yeah, right.
Like Mr. Krabs and Squidward.
You lost me at whale shark. You got me back at Mr. Krabs.
My secret formula.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. I think that really truly is beautiful. But then to reel it back one notch back towards like the production and the creation of music, What is the role of producer?
The role of producer is really just quality control. I think especially these days, like I'm a big proponent of Splice. I love that I feel like I always felt in my heart that that was an eventuality. I remember using archive.org and like other, and we used to really have hard drives of like samples, like physical,
Like actual
you know,
discs spinning.
back in 2012, 13, whatever. And yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, the music is there, right? You have like Output Arcade, whatever. You have all these loops, they're royalty free. And I think somebody who just like picks and chooses from those things and it ends up sounding amazing, they're just as much of a producer as like me, who like plays instruments and whatever. And I'm like, you know, real music guy, but I'm not necessarily more qualified from a artistic standpoint. I think everybody's just as qualified as each other from an artistic standpoint. But the role of the producer is to it's just quality control. That's it. And that's really all when you go back to like Phil Spector or something like that era or whatever. I mean, producer was like, I mean, God, he wasn't. I don't think he even knew like how to engineer stuff. You know, like he wasn't like compressing anything. It was just like the guy who was like steering and like
Sure.
guiding or whatever. So
Yeah, that's a good perspective too, because the conversation today is a lot of golden era. People back in the day when people really knew music. There's a good chance, if we're talking about the role of producer, that the producers back in those days knew less about music theory and less about the technical art of producing music, and they were more suits. They were more A&R, making sure it was going to be a hit.
they used to be all Rick Rubin, where they were just like this almost like psychiatrist character.
Oh, you think that's what they were doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know for sure, and it depends who you're talking about, but
Sure.
I'm sure it's just some quality control
You
stuff.
think like Rick Rubin, he's more hearkening back to the origins of record production days than forward thinking kind of like new agey concept of making a record happen.
Producer got conflated with beat maker.
Yes.
Those are now the same thing, right?
Yes.
So if you're working in a DAW, you're both a beat maker and you can call yourself a producer or whatever, but I think producer should just or just high level, like they can build the house, but then their quality control about the finish of the house and all that stuff. But
beautiful. That's great. Well, do we have any questions from the Instagram Live or the YouTube? That's a no. So I have two questions before we pull in Chelsea, who I'm very excited to speak with and to.
I got a text her to come
send
over.
a text. Send her a text.
Yeah.
In the meantime, what's your favorite music shop ever?
For buying music, like records and stuff.
I was thinking more like musical instruments shop. Yeah.
All right.
But we can do both. I'd like to hear both now that you brought that up.
Okay, so it's probably like Carter Guitars in Nashville is legendary, and then Upton Bass.
Where's that?
For upright bass stuff. They're in Mystic, Connecticut, and they actually build. That's what my bass is. They build upright basses from scratch. They have like 15 people working there, and they like have like this hand built upright bass thing going on. And
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Music shop.
Johnny's
store.
Johnny's in Darien, Connecticut. It's amazing.
All right. I must go. Where's Darien?
It's under an hour from the city.
Okay.
It's like literally a train stop. You know, I literally had to stop
Well, that's
myself. It
what
was just
spurred
like,
this question, because you've been on like a guitar spree for a minute.
you know, buy
which I
this one,
appreciate.
buy that one, buy that one, buy that one, buy that one. Then you have 12 guitars, and then you got to sell some, and then it's a lot.
So you just need an Upton bass and you're set.
Really, that's it.
Splice
That's the
in an
desert
Upton
island.
bass.
What?
Splice in an Upton bass.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, while we're waiting for Chelsea, do you have a light in that room? Maybe you've gotten more vampirical as the minutes have drawn. We're only we're less than an hour in, and it's getting goth in there. That's better. Okay, I feel safer now. Thank you.
Fear through the computer screen.
Truly the ghost in the machine. How are we looking on the stream, you guys?
I think Chelsea's on her way over.
She's working her way over in the snow estate.
Like a snail leaving a trail of slime. Gary.
Oh my gosh. The more SpongeBob
We were just talking about how you're a snail. You want here?
Yeah,
You sit down here.
This is so. You guys are like.
I gotta.
It's as if you're 80 years old. How cute you guys are. It's amazing.
Lane says we're like 80 years old.
I know. Why are we such an old couple?
Here, can we do this?
Is this how you're gonna do this?
Wait, hold on. This is not good. No, we do this.
What's happening here? Okay.
Okay.
This
We
is
got it.
the cutest DJ set I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's also like those old like switchboard operators or something.
Yeah, something like that. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool.
esoteric.
Are you comfortable? I want to make sure you guys are comfortable like this, because is there a speaker?
Relatively.
maybe?
Oh yeah.
This is the best way.
No.
This is the
one.
This
one.
is it.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. All right.
This is cool. I've never been on Discord before.
Yeah. Usually you can see them here, but they're.
Oh, we have that.
Well, Lane had a video feed.
can you-
but
can you
now
do
we just
that?
have
No, we can
a
only
podcast feed.
Yeah, we got a crew of interns here. We're figuring it out. Okay, Ryan's on it.
Lane, you have a great podcast voice.
Really?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I can't hear myself. So
I feel like it's very fitting.
Well.
You got like a nice bass response off that mic.
There we
Oh,
go.
there
In
it
a
is.
world.
Yeah.
You look so profesh compared
Oh, you can
to
see me now?
I told him the camera is like on point.
Yeah, you look great.
Way
And you've
too
got
high def.
lighting.
Okay. All right. I'll take it.
I'm blinded.
How come my team never gives me any compliments? That's great. Well, thank you for being here, Chelsea, and for joining us. So we just covered a lot of existential ground. We covered the basics,
Oh, I'm sure.
the tenets of Felix's background, mostly Grateful Dead. So that brings us to today. And you're launching Azaa, which is so cool. I'm so excited about this venture. So I just want to start. I know a lot of the people who are watching now are maybe not like seasoned industry veterans like you guys. So I just want to give like a really, really basic kind of overview of like one thing that might help with some confusion. So here's a 30-second background real quick. When you play your favorite song on Spotify, I wrote this last night at like 4 a.m. too, by the way, so it might have some typos. But when you play your favorite song on Spotify or wherever you listen to music, there are actually two parts of that song as far as the music industry is concerned, okay? There's the master recording, which has its own copyright protection. That's the P in the circle. And that's the production copyright, traditionally owned by the record label who put out the album that you're listening to. Then there's the song itself, which is the composition of the song, the underlying composition, not the recording that you're listening to, but the underlying composition includes the chords, the melody, and the lyrics. Okay, so that's the C in the circle. The businesses that represent the songs and the songwriters, they're typically referred to as like the publishing industry as a whole, and a professional songwriter might typically have a deal with a publishing company, which we discussed earlier. And yeah, publisher gets paid when the songwriter gets paid, typically equal parts. So that's the side of the industry that we're gonna be speaking to, because you guys are launching this business in the industry of songs, the songwriting industry. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that? What's that? I forgot the what's the, like, I'm just a bill, I'm only a bill, like that version of the music industry.
Honestly,
I forget what that's called.
Did not expect you to start singing.
How
It's
did it
like you were
sound?
just talking and then you started singing. What are you trying to say?
Does anybody know what I'm trying to think of? Josh is coming over here to tell me.
I'd be able to help you.
Yeah, it's all right.
What
Anyway,
are you trying to think?
Schoolhouse Rock. Thank you so much. All right, that's the Schoolhouse Rock version of the music industry.
Would not have gotten that. No, okay.
That's we got it. So Azaa, enter Azaa Music. Azaa Music, for years and years and years, songwriters have made their money by signing publishing deals with publishing companies, and then they write a song, and when it gets performance royalties or sync royalties, then the publishing company gets paid and the songwriter gets paid royalties. Where are we now? What has changed, and why did you guys think that there needed to be something else for songwriters?
Well, I don't think a lot has changed, and that's why we started Azaa. I think things have been done a certain way for a very long time, and I think we are on the precipice of more and more artists remaining independent and not wanting to sign to labels, not wanting to sign their publishing, trying to keep as much as they can. There's not a middle class in the music industry right now. And I think already pre-COVID times, it was already rough out there for songwriters, but I think this pandemic has really shined a bigger light on just how desolate it is for songwriters to make money.
Can you expand on that? Why was it rough for songwriters? And I'm assuming you mean rough now compared to, let's say, 20 years ago, just as a for instance. Has something happened in the industry at large that's made it more difficult currently?
Selling, we don't know what CD money is. We've never even tasted that money.
Yeah, CD, to coin an analogy here, CD money was loaves of bread. And streaming money is crumbs.
Yeah. And we've been eating the crumbs so long that we don't know.
We don't know the loaves.
Yeah, the loaves. I like cake more than loaves.
I think loaves of bread is nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Loaves of bread, that's a little more of it's a little more blue collar.
And it's interesting now because I feel so many songwriters, because they don't even understand the scope of how much money they should be making, or maybe they do, but they're so used to getting the crumbs, for lack of a better term, that they'll do anything they can just to get a little bit of it. So you know, we wanted to create an opportunity to change that and help songwriters make more money, and that's it.
Is that the main mission of Azaa, is to like create a new revenue stream that's more fair to songwriters?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
well, it's like it's an additional revenue stream.
Mhm.
Hopefully, it can grow to become maybe it can be their main substantive revenue stream as well. Where if they could be making 3 or 4 grand a month off of it, you know, this could be a nice like meat and potatoes kind of living.
Yeah. Off of music they're already creating or have already created that's been sitting
but
around.
I think it's worth it to say that one of the fundamental reasons, I guess, for Azaa is that songwriters, both no matter regardless of tier or class, typically have this folder. Some would say it's a graveyard. A folder. Thank you for laughing. A folder of songs that haven't been placed or haven't been released, and you know, they just haven't been purposed. And it's not because they're bad.
It has to do with bandwidth issues, with A&R bandwidth issues, politics, mood, something as simple as like somebody just not hearing the song at the right time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we're kind of setting up something that's maybe halfway between Sotheby's and like a thrift shop for songs. And at its core, it's an online song marketplace that is also, it's worth it to say, it's vetted and quality controlled.
Yeah.
Highly.
Who's doing the vetting?
You're looking at them. And then, you know, down the line, you know,
we have
we have about 4 employee / intern type people who are
involved.
You know,
sure.
A&R ish.
Did you say employees / interns?
Yeah, that means I'm not paying them anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Earmuffs, guys. Okay. By vetting, what do you mean vetting? Is this, are you basing, like we spoke about quality control a couple times in regards to music. Is this quality control based on who might be interested in purchasing a song, or is it more quality control based on like the styles of music that are going to be on the marketplace? What is that? How are you selecting
quality
what's on the
control
marketplace?
based on basically perceived chance of saleability, because we are a broker of songs. We are non-denominational in terms of genre, obviously, but it's just more, you know, when you get the wow feeling from a song, that's kind of how we're going through stuff. Everybody knows that feeling.
And I think songs too that like, even if like, you know, I don't particularly love it myself, I can still tell that it's a great song and that it could go somewhere. I mean, I think tastes vary, obviously. So you know, I think it's just, you know, like if you go on BeatStars or any of these other like music marketplaces, you know, it's just a free for all. There's so much content and there's so much about quality, and there's no like nobody's keeping track of like how good
that's
any of
that's
this
what I was
stuff
going to
is.
say is like every kind of online music marketplace or whatever isn't necessarily well, it actually isn't quality controlled at all. BeatStars is not vetted. Nothing's vetted there. I can upload waves of like a door shutting and try to release it for $5.
They're just going for how many.
Yeah, they work in
have.
volume, whereas we're going to be working with quality.
Sure.
And also just the fact that we're selling actual songs differentiates us as well. Like we're not going to be doing beats.
That's not the same
tracks,
arena. Yeah, we're not. No.
Who is your customer?
It would be artists themselves. It would be managers of artists. It would definitely be label A&Rs. It would be anybody in any kind of A&R capacity. It would be
sync houses,
sync people,
okay,
DJ
type people, all the spinning records crew, and all those DJs who you know, buy music,
and producers.
Yeah, producers too.
Sure, right. It's really interesting. I mean, this is just such a new world, and you know, as a producer myself, you know, who half the time, like I think any good producer recognizes how the song really is the king slash queen. You know, the production is the icing on the cake. Really, you know, if you don't have a good song, you got nothing. So most of the time spent in the studio, if you're like really getting deep in the weeds in artist development, you're probably not necessarily just you know, the classic, like, you know, Michael Jackson style where they're just like receiving hundreds of song submissions and choosing the best ones. It's like most of the time you're going to spend is probably writing songs, and it's probably figuring out what songs are right for your artists. So to have such a, you know, to have a marketplace where you can take those ideas and to you know, see if they apply to your either the artist or yourself as the artist or people you're working with or the sync job that you're working for. It's like it just kind of opens up a whole different part of the industry that really hasn't been talked about, because this has kind of been like the under wraps, kept under the magician's covers kind of side of the music industry. So super I'm very interested. I'll be your first customer. So let me ask a couple kind of technical questions now, just to kind of, just that I'm curious about, if you'll indulge me. How does the pricing work? I saw on your website you have kind of like a sliding scale, which implies that you're willing to have the songwriter decide how much of the song they want to sell.
Yeah.
Is that
So
correct?
our entire process with this thing has been, we're the brokers, we're literally like the middleman, and then songwriters are over here, and then potential buyers are over here, and we're trying to make a value proposition where it's decidedly pro songwriter, but the songwriters get to choose. Like, I'll just give you an example. They say, and they're selling the writer's share, so they're not selling the publisher's share. So they say, willing to part with 10% of this for $4,000, something like that. But the way the sliding scale comes into play is you can have it scale, so you can set parameters of like, I'm willing to take anywhere between 10 and 40%, and then if it was the $4,000, the 20% would be $8,000, and the 40% would be $16,000, if I'm doing that math correctly. But
checks out.
It's just setting parameters. It's all about control for the songwriter. We have no max price. We do have a minimum price and a minimum percent, which I think what do we do? $250 is the minimum price for like 5% to sell 5%. But that's the basic.
And then on the buyer side as well, they also will have a sliding scale and get to choose how much they want to purchase based off of the parameters that the songwriter.
The songwriter could also set a static parameter where it's just like, I want to sell 30% for $15,000, and that's it.
That's it, yeah.
You know, so but they could do either.
So it's pretty flexible. There's a lot of flexibility involved for adhering to different kind of statures of songwriters and different kind of like tiers, maybe, of people who are more established, have more industry credits, bigger cuts in their backlog. How is that decided? Like, does the songwriter strictly, like, they just get to determine these things, or is this part of the vetting process that you were referencing? Like, are you kind of like being the check and balance of their pricing schemes as well, or is it eBay where they just get to pick their prices?
We're more than happy to assist in sort of helping out songwriters with their pricing or whatever. But and as the marketplace gets out into the wild, we will be receiving data in terms of like, we'll be able to guide writers as to how they should be pricing there, but we also don't want to control it too.
Yeah.
So they
Right.
you know, I think we want to have lend them the autonomy to choose what they want, really. And I think that depends largely upon their financial situation as well. When they're saying, hey, if I need this money, then maybe I'd be willing to part with you know, like a lesser sale price, you know,
Right.
than perhaps somebody who's sitting on a couple $1,000,000 and is like, oh, well, you know, you get 75K or nothing, man.
You know, and something I want to point
That's how
out
they say
too
it, too.
is that we're actually giving songwriters a chance to assign value to the songs that they've written, which I think is something that, you know, it's obviously something that they don't have right now. I mean, even
It's a
if you're,
big point. The devaluation of music has just gone. It's too. I think you and I talked about this, Lane, where it's like $10 a month for the entire history of human recorded music.
that's
You
crazy.
have go on BeatStars, and this is a bit of a caricature, but you have something like, you know, lease 25 beats for $5, and you know, just
Yep.
this whole thing. It's like music is worth more than this, guys. You know, like this.
Yep.
We went wrong with putting certain values on music, and you know, we have to, I think, steadily reclaim the monetary value, financial value of music.
Yeah, and I certainly appreciate that. Last question. What do you think of these? There's a lot of talk of AI songwriters. I just saw, okay, so I saw a video the other day. I posted this to our Discord channel, which we're all very happy about. But I posted, there's like somebody just fed an AI all of Amy Winehouse's like music catalog, right? And then this AI popped out a song that was like Amy Winehouse type track. Not to throw a wrench in the whole gears of this conversation, but is this something like, you know, because we're seeing this, the possible like machine learning side of music come out because technology is starting to get there, even as ridiculous as it might sound, as like, you know, computers writing lyrics and writing chord progressions and words and everything. But we're seeing that come out. We're also seeing at the same time the NFT space, which is like really in my view, the polar opposite, where people are valuing the scarcity of a work for the first time since the digital revolution, where, you know, people are saying like, oh, well, yeah, it doesn't really matter if we can copy paste this and share it to all of our friends. There's still value inherent in who owns the original, you know, just like a Picasso hanging in the Louvre, you know, it's like there's still, if there's a paper trail of who actually owns it, then it has value. So those are kind of like the two sides I think of, like the where we're going in some regards, and just, you know, the things that could completely topple over a lot of the existing paradigms in the songwriting industry and the record industry and all these things. So do you guys have any kind of, you know, this is a very open-ended question. I'm just curious, like, are you guys thinking about these trends or these possibilities?
I think, of course. I think the irony of the AI stuff that you mentioned is that it's all iterated off of human created content.
Yes.
So it's copying humans, which is cool. And I think if something can spit out lyrics that are a mashup, yet at the same time new and fresh and consumable and listenable, then that's fantastic. Just like if you could have like an AI remix of a song, I mean, that's fantastic, but it's still stemming from human input. It's not like alien input. I think with regards to NFT, it feels and smells like a flash in the pan. That's just my personal take on it. I think AI and machine learning and everything like that is super duper going to be central focus. And I think we're just at the tip of the funnel with that one. It's going to...
What does that mean? What does central focus mean?
Oh, I think it's going to be in the center of everything. I think it's going to be the sun to the new universe of life.
You listening, Elon? You heard it here first.
Thing working.
Yeah. Okay, cool. But yeah, I mean,
You
that's
heard it here
that's
first.
yeah, I mean, and on that note, you know, the thing that got me really excited, like getting kind of infatuated with the concept of blockchain and these like kind of more trackable forms of, you know, it's very on a systematic level. These technologies are have really powerful implications because it just takes all the bullshit out of the equation. Where, you know, it's like, let's say like there's a songwriting session you have with a couple friends, and like, you know, it used to be such a pain in the ass. You'd have to print out your Google Docs split sheet at the end of the session and make sure everybody signs off. And then if they have a publisher, they have to get them to sign off, or their manager. And like, you know, the implications of having more trackability in the intellectual property of music is pretty huge, because
It's cool, but it's not solving the problem of people getting more money, of songwriters getting more money.
True.
It's a cool like janitorial
Yes.
kind of thing, and it might lead to more accurate money, but maybe not leading to like, you know, the
not solving
necessary
the
level of
systematic
yeah.
problems with
Yeah.
the
I would also say buyer beware on all this stuff, because the revolutionaries become the new tyrants.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a historical thing, you know.
Google, we pledge to not be evil.
Yeah,
Paradigm,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
you know, you gotta be careful where you put your faith in. You know,
Absolutely. Well,
a lot of hype. You know, don't believe the hype. You know, it's just I think tech gets so hypey.
It does.
You
Yes.
could see how Wall Street reacts to tech.
Yeah.
Very hypey, not good.
Yeah.
Not as sustainable, rather.
Yes. Don't get lost in the hype. So,
Oh yeah.
what's the plan? What's the next step? I know you guys are in the phase right now where you are kind of like collecting music, and in that vetting process where you're building out the library, you're building out the marketplace. How do people submit to you? And what do we look for in the next phase? When is the marketplace going to be open for business?
Yeah, it's azaamusic.com, and that's the trailer site, and the submission site right now is azaamusic.com. The marketplace is T-minus 2 months, probably, till official launch.
Okay.
And then after that, it's off to the races.
Yep.
You know, everybody going crazy.
That's awesome. Well, I'm first in line. Thank you guys for taking the time and speaking with us. I'm super pumped.
Get that checkbook
Thank you
out.
for having us.
Absolutely.
Get the money. Stack the money up, man. Let's go.
Let's go. Money bags are coming out.
Stack
Chelsea,
the Ethereum.
feel free to hang out. We love having you here. The next segment we are so excited for is
Doesn't go away.
is the 11-minute beat challenge, the first in the entire history.
11-minute beat challenge.
Did you make this?
That's the
No,
first
they
time
made it.
I
Let me see
heard
if I
that.
can
That
get on
was
the speaker.
I'm very impressed. The interns killed it on that.
I like
So
Can you still hear us?
yeah, we can hear you. We'll be back in exactly 2 minutes. We're going to take the shortest break of all time because I have to pee. We'll be back with the 11-minute
something
beat
Oh, no.
challenge. Let's get a round of applause for Azaa Music.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna do a beat in 11 minutes,
Oh, that's easy for you. All right.
and they're gonna give me a sample though. I gotta flip it.
You know?
That's good.
We'll wait for Felix to get back. Hey.
Yo. There we
he
go.
is.
All right.
Beautiful.
I got to hear that tag again. Play the tag again.
We are here and we're back and ready for the
11-minute beat challenge.
damn. Who did the vocals for those?
Like that.
You? Oh shit. All right. Hannah,
Dog,
you're
you
doing
gotta
my
do a
next
track.
producer tag. I need that.
No.
Cool. Well, welcome back. Hope y'all enjoyed hearing a little bit about Azaa music, the new groundbreaking songwriting industry disruptor from the amazing team at Felix Snow and Chelsea Davenport Enterprises. But it's not all easy peasy conversations squeezy here at Moon Live, because we're going to be putting Felix Snow to the test. The pressure is about to be on. How much pressure, you ask? Exactly 11 minutes of pressure. And you know what that means. That means it's time for the 11-minute beat challenge.
11-minute beat challenge.
It gets better every time, honestly.
That's
So
a great tag.
the 11-minute beat challenge. Here's how this is going to go. We're going to give Felix a sample that he has never heard in his entire life. And he's going to have exactly 11 minutes to turn it into a beat. And not a second more. The clock is going to start when you drop the sample into Ableton.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
We got
All right.
you might not see the clock, but we'll give you, like, you know, we'll let you know how it's looking. I have a feeling you're gonna
Don't cheat me on the clock. You gotta like give me 5-minute warning. Give me 5 minutes remaining.
for sure,
That's all
for
I
sure.
need.
I'm just gonna be commentating the whole time, so I'll give you plenty of time warnings. Yeah. I'm just thinking
That
how
won't
this is
disrupt
gonna
the beat
happen.
making at all.
What?
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 What? Hello out there.
Is that the mic? Damn. Okay. So
Can you hear me?
loud and clear. When you're ready, please retrieve the sample from the samples Discord.
All right.
Room.
Hold up. I gotta share my screen first, though, right?
Oh yeah, we need to get that.
Am I doing that?
Yes, please.
All right. Tell me, is that working? Is that good?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on it. And here it comes.
Oh.
Beautiful. That is Ableton in full glory. What skin is that? Frost?
Frost.
Thought so. All right. So we have your screen. We got Ableton. Have you located the sample?
All right, I'm going into samples.
Okay.
All right, 11-second beat challenge samp.
I think that's the one.
It's 5 seconds long.
It's 5 seconds long.
This better be good.
So, are we ready? Are we getting audio?
All right, hold up. Let me make sure you're getting audio here.
Okay.
I'm just gonna. Can y'all hear that?
We can. That's
Yeah?
not the sample, but we can hear it.
Okay. I'm putting the sample in. Here we go. You ready with the clock?
Are you ready, folks? The clock is about.
You guys ready with the clock? Let me know.
Oh, drum roll and drop it.
I can't believe this thing is 5 seconds. What the hell is that?
That would be a capybara. That's the noise a capybara makes. And might I add, probably the most musically
I thought I was
proficient.
gonna get music.
You thought wrong, my friend. Challenge.
All right. Let's see what we could do
The
here.
challenge has started. This is truly a glimpse into the mind of Felix Snow. We are so lucky to be getting this. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna pull the monitor
I'm
up.
gonna. All right. I need to make this musical. Hold on.
Sorry if you guys can see this in the screen. I need to get a close up. So.
All right.
So it appears Felix has pulled the sample into drum rack, and what he's doing is shortening the sample, pulling out the attack into where he wants to start the trigger of the sample on different pads.
All right. Let's see. All right.
Felix being an old school cat, he's just using the, I believe he's using the keyboard, old school QWERTY style to trigger that. He doesn't have one of these fancy pushes. That's a funky capybara if I've ever heard one. So he's auditioning this seconds, some may say like the nay on top of the short choppy sequence that he's made on the first track. So he has two separate drum tracks he's programming, both sequencing different samples sample chops of the same sample. Woo. I think it's interesting to note that he's starting with a 4-bar loop. So he's got the drums, he's got the capybara sample, he's gone to a bass, which he's using a sample, 808 type sample. Oh, let's drop the octave. I'm getting the 8-minute warning, 7-minute warning, correction. Oh my gosh, what is happening? He has pulled in a vocal sample. Who knows where this sample came from? Shout it out, please. Felix has extended the track to 8 bars now, and we see him tugging and pulling on the warp of the vocal sample, which is coming now on top of the drums, capybara, triple track capybara, and double track capybara, excuse me, and bass. Experimenting with different keys of the vocal sample, seeing what might gel with the tonality of the bass and the capybara that he's previously programmed. It appears that he has settled on a key for the vocal sample. He added a tambourine. That was the fastest 4 times duplication I've ever seen in Ableton in my entire history of music production. Okay, we got some hats. And we're coming up on the 5-minute warning here. Felix, give me a nod if you can hear that we are at our 5-minute warning. Nodding, might be to the beat, might be because he understands the 5-minute warning. We'll see. We're off to a great start though. He has extended to a 16-bar loop now. We are getting into what I would call arrangement mode at this point. Very fine-tuned chopping and screwing of the vocal sample at this point. So he is essentially performing a DJ style chop of the vocal now, coming up on 4 minutes, and we're in arrangement mode in that he's changing, he's giving us some diversity in the vocal sample, but we're just starting to go into seeing an arrangement being built out. So he has now used the post 16 bars. He's used bars 17 through 32 to give us a cutting the bass, capybara and vocal tootie solo, and then we have the drums and the bass drop back in. We're back in the hook at this point. We're building out the whole beat at this point. So Felix recognizes at this point that we're probably coming up on, what, 3 minutes? We are almost at 3 minutes, and we're going for a whole radio length single here, so he's going to start to slim down to give us some diversity in the arrangement, and looks like we have one breakdown build up so far. He's making a percussion loop for the second half of the song now, using some percussion samples. Sounds like a keyboard clacking. Coming up on 2 minutes. And he was soloing the vocal sample as he changed the chop that he was doing, possibly to see if that would work on its own for a vocal solo breakdown. And now we're going back to the first breakdown. And we're going to get percussion and vocals here. And of course, our capybara. We see Felix getting more into the engineering and mix engineering aspect of this beat now. He's adding the glue compressor to what it looks like is the vocal sample, perhaps giving it a sidechain effect with the drums. We are down to 1 minute. Felix, give us a hand signal if you know, if you can, yes, okay. We have confirmation. We are down to 1 minute, and the pressure is on. This really reminds me at this point of Iron Chef, when they start cutting the camera around and everybody's just scraping to get it done and get it on the plate, is what they say. That's what Alton Brown usually says. They need to get it on the plate at this point. And we're 30 seconds to completion, and that capybara is coming in loud and clear. I've never heard a capybara sound quite this good, if I'm being honest. 20 seconds. Felix has duplicated some of those bass tracks, and here's what he's doing, is creating a kind of a house bass loop. 10 seconds. I'm getting 5. Thank you, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Wow.
I'm happy with that.
Wow.
I am happy with that. That was good.
My goodness. Let's give a big round of give it up. Give it up for Felix Snow. The first ever 11-minute beat challenge.
That was good. I like that. That's a jam. That's a jam.
11-minute beat challenge.
Wow.
You stuck me with the capybara sample.
Wow. That capybara will go down in history, my friends. Incredible work. So tell us, what did you do? What was your process? Were you surprised by the sample? Walk us through the mind of Felix as you dropped in the capybara sample and take it all the way to completion at the end of this 11-minute beat challenge.
It was very rude that you gave me a non-musical sample inherently.
I would say it's very musical. I'd say the entire population of capybaras would be quite offended to hear you say that personally, but I'll let them speak for themselves.
So I have some kind of a shout element, which is what that was. And my mind kind of went to, okay, let me see if I could maybe get it into a sampler and like micro, where you could get it to loop and then it becomes a note or whatever. But I feel like that would be dishonest with the source material. It would just be generating something that wasn't what the sample was.
Wasn't true to the sample.
Yeah,
And I
wasn't
respect
true to the
that.
sample.
That's a very sportsmanship like decision on your part. Big props.
Got to use the sample, got to be, got to maintain the integrity with the sample.
Yes,
And
absolutely. Especially when we're talking about capybaras.
Yeah, there's no, you can't, And then, put the drum loop in there, and then, just put a bunch of loops in there, and I think it worked out.
When you say shout, so you're saying that the capybara kind of took the place of the shout. What's that analogous to in popular music? What are you referring to there?
Like a vocal shout, like
woo.
I don't know. Yeah, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Cool.
It felt very party. The capybara felt very party. He was ready to party, and I was ready to let him party.
I second that, and I appreciate that distinction and that allowance for partying. That capybara is going to be very happy when we send this beat to him or her. Not really sure, but that's incredible, man. And would you say, because we saw you going into the arrangement phase a little late in the game there, because you honed out that 8-bar, that 4-bar, 8-bar, 16-bar, and then it seems, I was really excited when I saw you create that breakdown, build up, drop out, come back, the bass and the drums cut out, and we get some percussion. What would you say would be the next step if you had a 12th minute? What would be the next step? Is it arranging out the song further? Is it honing in on the mix more? What would be the next evolution?
No, I'd probably just find a duplicatable arrangement, which I kind of came close to at the end there, where I could just take those 64 bars and literally repeat them, and it would feel like a song form. It's pretty close to that, but
64 bars maybe being like from the breakdown to the end of where the arrangement stands currently.
Yeah, just finding, like I said, just finding some block that I could just literally duplicate, and then it would be like a pleasing ebb and flow song form kind of thing.
Right. Well, that was a beautiful job. I'd say that was a success. You won.
100%. I'm glad, we could support the capybaras, and in fact, I'm donating that beat to the local Capybara Foundation. So
that's very good of you, and we appreciate that. And because we just finished our first 11-minute beat challenge with a capybara sample, that brings us to our next segment, which is the very first of its kind, and this is the Animal Fact of the Week segment.
Animal Fact of the Week.
So we're very excited to bring you the first ever Animal Fact of the Week on Moon Live. This is brought to us by the good folks at Drunk Planet Earth, which is one of our favorite Instagram accounts ever. They post engaging animal facts, stories, and trivia. And it's a must follow. So that's at Drunk Planet Earth. They also have a weekly show on Twitch where they get drunk and watch Planet Earth. So I don't have the fact printed out here. Can we get a little backup here? Somebody got it? We're very excited about this. This is the first one ever, and I think it's going to be. We're going to pose this in form of a question, and see if Felix can get the. Okay, we forgot to print it, but we're figuring it out. Okay, it's the first time ever.
What am I trying to get?
We'll tell you in a minute.
All right.
The one you sent me this morning?
Yeah. Okay, we're coming. It's the suspense, it will be worth it. I promise.
Always is.
Okay, I have it. So this is a very snow appropriate first animal fact of the week. Here is the question. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Okay. Which bird has the most feathers?
Which bird has the most feathers?
Feathers, yes. And take your time thinking about this, but remember, I'm saying this is a very snow appropriate.
Oh, so it's got to
bird.
be like a penguin. Tell me it's a penguin.
That's incredible. Can you specify?
Is it?
Now, it is a penguin. What kind of penguin has the most feathers of any bird?
Kind of penguin?
What kind of penguin?
All right, now we're getting into the guessing, but maybe it's an emperor penguin. I mean, that's the only kind of penguin I know.
Can we
I
get
don't know.
some applause in here? That's incredible.
Well, I'm proud of myself.
It
guys.
absolutely was. It's an emperor penguin, and I
Thank you.
think that there's a snow connection here, and this is really important. That was the first
Animal fact of the week.
Animal fact of the week. Fun fact, that would be 80,000 feathers. That the emperor penguin
Wow.
wins the feather game competition in a landslide, because that's way more feathers than any other bird could ever even dream of. So 80,000 feathers. It's the emperor penguin. I cannot believe that you got that, but I'm very impressed, and you certainly
you.
earned both your
That's my
victories
guy.
tonight as first winner ever of the Animal Fact of the Week and the 11-minute beat challenge. So amazing work. And we're just gonna go right into our final segment here, which is viewer mail. So do we have any questions from the viewers? Shout us out. Let us know if you have any questions for Felix.
Question for Felix. When are you going to release the songs you did with Guard?
Wow. Deep cut. Okay. When are you going to release the songs you did with Guard? That's coming from the live Instagram feed. Thank you very much for that question.
It's amazing. I don't know. Have them email me, whoever's saying that, and we could talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
that's my
deflective answer, I'd say there, but nonetheless, it's an answer and it's a question. So thank you very much for that. What else you guys got? Oh no, that's just an Uber notification. Okay, thought we were getting a question. I'm gonna check on our. We had one of those new question things. So I'm gonna see if anybody wrote in on that. Oh, it looks like we got some action. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay. This is a question from Ezra in Pennsylvania, and it is, what do you feel are some best practices for young artists starting out to realize success? Great question. Thank you, Ezra.
So they're just starting out and they're what?
Some best practices for young artists starting out to realize success, to become successful.
Well, you got to define what success is for you, and then just like be true to yourself and don't trend chase. And everybody's like, you got to tap into what excites you, not what you perceive is going to make you popular or something like that. It's very prevalent these days. So you got to buck that, disavow that, just tune into what excites you.
Be true to yourself.
Yep.
Love it. Amazing. Okay, we got another one.
More questions.
Oh, we got two.
Reed's book 28 is back and wants to know, what about the songs you did for Kiiara? Will those be released as well?
Wow, did you hear that?
I didn't. What is it?
I'm gonna Reed's book.
Reed's book 28.
Reed's book 28 asks, what about the songs you did with Kiiara? I think we have a super fan on our hands here, and this is awesome because
what songs that I did with Kiiara? I think those are all released. Those are all out there.
Okay.
And are you hiring?
I got some stuff in the vault, but
you got some
I don't
Kiiara
know.
cuts in the vault.
Yeah, somebody buy it. Like, give me money.
Can we
Come on.
possibly? Are we talking NFT?
Yeah.
Possibilities.
7 million NFT money.
Okay.
7 million in shitcoin.
Shitcoin. Is that like Dogecoin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Doesn't
And
really exist, but
are you hiring? We got another question. Are you hiring?
Am I hiring? I don't know. Sure.
You heard it here, folks. I'll know. Sure. Send in those applications. That's the voice of someone who can be persuaded.
Let's go.
All right. Well, that might be it. Any final questions? That's it.
From me?
Do you have any questions?
I have a lot of questions, but most of them can be answered by that. Oh yeah.
Well,
this is like Forever 21, like 2011.
Retro. Okay, we have another. We do have a final question.
From Reed's
All right,
book
let's go.
28, Felix, will the songs you did with David under the project Mama Will, those songs be released?
Wow.
I'm a fan of those songs. Maybe Weird, Ashes, and Money.
Can you actually would you mind saying that into the mic? Because I don't think I can handle all of that. I'm just gonna...
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's cutting out. I didn't hear that.
Yeah. We're
It's a small paragraph. I'm just taking a photo.
Hannah's gonna come over here because this is important. I think
Felix, will the songs you did with David under the project Mama Will, those songs be released? I'm a fan of the songs. Maybe Weird, Ashes, and Money.
Oh, those songs are released. Yeah, those songs are out there.
Thank you, Hannah. They're out there.
Go find them.
Okay.
Go find them.
Where can we find them?
I don't know, but they're out there. It's like a treasure hunt.
Okay. Fair enough. Well,
except not really worth it.
Harsh. Well, because Felix said treasure hunt, that is all for today. Thank you all for joining, and thank you, Felix, for coming on air. Moon Live episode 6. That's another one in the books, and it was certainly a pleasure and certainly a historic and monumental event for all of us. So we'll see you next time, and thank you again for the team, Josh, Hannah, Ryan, Diego, Chelsea, and Felix, and we'll see all you guys next time.